Be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. And I don't know that we want a Joe Biden floundering all over stage, because if you believe in my Biden replacement theory, then you understand that Joe Biden floundering all over stage indicates that we're going to have a new candidate up there sooner rather than later. And trust me, the same leftists that are willing to cook the books, the same leftists that are willing to look the other way as many states sign up illegal aliens to vote, the same leftists that are willing to lie, cheat, and steal their way to any election victory possible, they most certainly have the ability to replace their presidential candidate. Thank you very much. That's right. These same leftists that are willing to lie, cheat, and steal their way to a victory will replace their candidate on a moment's notice. Joe Biden is not the leader of this movement. He's not the leader of the leftist. He's a useful idiot. We know that, and most certainly
do you think that I mean, if that were to happen, does somebody just call Kamala and go, you suck, and you're not even on the radar?
And that's the trickier part of this. So what to do with Kamala Harris?
Because she's just roundly disliked. I mean, there is no improvement in making her the choice.
What you would do, you would promise her that she could remain as vice president on the ticket, and that you would give her the lead in the clubhouse for the 2028 cycle. And you would convince her that the time is, you would try to figure out a way to convince her that the time is not right for her just yet, that we need another 4 years. I mean, I'm just trying to think like a Democrat. I'm trying to think how you would explain that to her, because, I mean, but if she says no, so what? She's disliked. I mean, what's she going to do? I don't think she's liked within the black community that much. I mean, I think they put up with her.
I think after her record on keeping people in prison beyond their dates simply for the labor, I think that is something that is stuck around her neck pretty well.
TB has an interesting theory on this, and I like it. You can join us on the membersnutrition.com super text line, 615-737-9986. You can also call us up with your thoughts. I like the way you're thinking, TB. Sotomayor retires and is replaced by Kamala. I mean, I guess you could do that. You'd have to get it through the United States Senate, and I don't know that that's possible. So TB's theory goes as follows. After a disastrous debate for Biden, Sotomayor steps down. Biden nominates Harris to replace Sotomayor, solving the Harris problem. Biden then steps down, medical issues, Dems convention, they replace the candidates, Governor, Gavin, whatever. I don't think he says HRC. HRC is damaged goods.
I also think that's way convoluted. They can't afford to. I don't
confuse
think
it too much.
Yeah, they don't want to mess with the Supreme Court right now. They're not going to get an additional seat. It does them no benefit to replace Sotomayor.
Right. You're trading a liberal for a liberal. Right. You have to trade a conservative for a liberal in order to advance what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so I think you leave that alone, and you hope that during if Biden got another term or whoever it ends up being, then you get a chance to replace whoever you want to that resigns.
Did you see the video of this guy basically saying, I posted it up on my social media platform, essentially saying that if we elect Donald Trump as president of the United States, he's going to kill people?
Well, doesn't he do that already? I was under the impression they was shooting people in the middle of Fifth Avenue.
No.
Not happen?
Well, no. That's no. This guy's saying I mean, I think there's a curse word in it, so I can't play it. We would have to edit it. But
I could do that, but then it would never get used.
This guy. Speaking of that, thank you, Bell. Speaking of that, surefire way to make sure that I never play audio is to get Bell to pull it up in the control room, because then I never play.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that I have a producer that takes that not as a personal insult or a personal slight and doesn't bring it up to me constantly.
Well, you're half right.
Well, that's right. The second, maybe not so true. But is anybody else hearing this wrong? Who is this? Is this Stefano Di Pietro?
I'm pretty sure.
Am I saying this? Am I saying his name correctly? I mangle it. Listen to this. Y'all know that I have an annoyance with our weather people telling us what to do and how to act when it gets hot. We're all grown people here. We can figure it out for ourselves. I've lived 50 years on this earth. I don't need some snot-nosed meteorologist telling me how to dress. But here they go. Wear the loose clothing and dress appropriately. And you better hydrate, guys. But then this one, I think I'm taking this wrong. Listen to our weather forecast that we're playing all afternoon for you on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Listen in.
Excessive heat is expected again today across the mid-state.
Okay.
On WSMV4, First Alert meteorologist Cruz Medina. Throughout this afternoon, expect highs to top out in the middle and upper 90s.
Okay.
Although it'll be sunny, it's going to be extremely hot with heat index values over 100 degrees.
Here we go.
Make sure that you stay cool and hydrated today. Otherwise, storms return to the forecast on Wednesday.
You hear that?
You can stay up to date with the latest on your forecast on WSMV4.
How are you hearing that?
I keep waiting for him to say, if you're a goth or a metalhead, stay indoors.
Well, that's true. So, well, you don't need to be told that. If you can do it, play the last part again. I'm hearing this differently than he is intending it. I'm hearing him say that if we don't stay hydrated, we're going to get storms. Because he says, if you don't stay hydrated, otherwise we get storms. Just listen to it one more time.
Make sure that you stay cool and hydrated today. Otherwise, storms return to the forecast on Wednesday.
Make sure you stay cool or hydrated today. Otherwise, storms are coming. So if you don't want storms, you better drink some water.
Wear loose clothing. Otherwise, we're going to get tornadoes.
I mean, I understand what he's going for there, but I heard that. I went, wait a minute. So I have to stay hydrated. Otherwise, we get storms? Well, wait a minute. So then I don't want to be hydrated because I kind of like a nice evening storm. Brett is in Franklin with a thought on the debate Thursday. Brett, hope you're well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Glad to know that you're doing well.
Yes, sir.
I think it's more about Trump than Biden. Their debate in the last election, I had so many suburban women tell me that Trump was so mean and angry, and that just really, turned them off. And so I think demeanor and countenance and, being genial and affable I know that's on his way when he gets challenged, but if he could, because he's going up against three people, the two moderators and angry Joe Biden hopped up on drugs. If he could just grin and bear it and laugh it off, that would be the play that gives us the win, like the balls. Go Vols.
Hey, go Vols, and congratulations to your team. I don't mind saying it. I like Tennessee for what it's worth, although I'm a Georgia boy, and that's good stuff. I agree with you. I think Donald Trump's aware of this, too, in as much as he made a mention of it. I think it was a rally yesterday or night before last, Brett, where he made mention of it. He was like, what do you guys think I should do? You guys think I should yell at the guy and scream at him, or you think I should just let him talk? I don't know if you saw that clip or not. I think Trump's aware that there's a way to play this to, as the old saying goes, give Joe enough rope and let him hang himself.
I agree. He needs to, last time he had, what was it, Chris Wallace, I think, coming at him? And as well as Joe Biden, and he gets his back up a little bit. And we have a problem with suburban women. They read body language more than the facts and figures. I shouldn't say that. I hate to disparage a group of people, but there is a group of people that don't really tune in until the very end, and they look at more who seems more likable.
Well, no, I get it. I get it. We cannot think like people that consume political information on the regular. We have to try our best to think like people who don't, right? And these are people that are a little more sensitive to the rough and tumble world of politics, like you say, especially our female friends. And I love you guys. I love all of the female listeners that are currently out there, maybe wagging their fingers at the radio dial right now. But I think Brett's right. Sometimes they bring a little more of a delicate sensibility to these things, and Trump can be a little off-putting. So I think your analysis is dead on, Brett. He has to concern himself with not one of the reasons that I never had a problem with the mics going off during the times that you're not speaking, here's what I predict to you, okay? I don't predict that Joe Biden's going to fall on his face necessarily, although it's an option out there. I do believe that Donald Trump's going to come bring some heat. The best case scenario, I believe, is when CNN begins to act as a third-party agent for Biden. And I don't believe that Jake Tapper or Dana Bash will be able to help themselves. Now, as left-wing as these two are, both of them hate Trump. They hate him. But they are desperate. And I've actually talked to someone who has a connection at CNN. And I'm not suggesting that I have any inside information because I don't. I wouldn't say that. But they're of a like mind. Let's back up for a second. I told you the story about CNN. In 2017, there was a special election for United States Senate in the state of Alabama, and it was a big deal. It made national headlines. Maybe you guys up here in Tennessee were talking about it. Well, my radio partner at the time, Andrea Lindenberg, and I were in the thick of it. I was not supporting Roy Moore. I did not support Roy Moore. I didn't support Roy Moore for a variety of reasons, none of which I necessarily desire to get into right now. However, I actually supported Mo Brooks until such time as the runoff. I supported Luther Strange in the runoff, and he got his brains beaten out of him. And then I was like, I'm out, right? And then Roy Moore got drugged through the mud by the Washington Post. They made up a bunch of lies about Moore, but that wasn't the reason I didn't support him. One way or the other, Doug Jones, a Democrat, eventually won that special election, and he was soundly defeated by Tommy Tuberville a year or so later. All that to say, CNN was covering these debates, and they were covering the Senate election, and they came to town several times, and they interviewed my radio partner and I several times, and we got a lot of guff for going on CNN, and our point was simple. If we don't go on CNN, some dunderhead's going to, and we need to present the side of the state of Alabama. We need to present common sense conservatism and libertarianism in a fashion that presents Alabama in the proper way to the national audience, as opposed to what they want to present, which is something decidedly different. One way or the other, we got a chance to talk to several CNN producers. These are like on-field producers that go back to Atlanta, they go back to Washington, they go back to New York. And we talked to this dude, Jason Carroll, I think his name was. I don't know that he's with CNN anymore, but he was at the time. And we told them that we were getting hell from our audience for even going on their station. And they did not get it. They are so much in a bubble, folks. They don't get it. They don't understand that they're the outliers in a lot of ways. Now, the muckety-mucks do, and some of them on camera do. Don't get me wrong. I understand that not all of them are unaware, blissfully ignorant of their bias. But some of them are. This executive producer with CNN, she's like, what? And we're like, well, you're biased. What? No. And she was just couldn't believe it. Like, what do you mean? Go through the heartland of America, lady. Talk to real people in America, and maybe, just maybe, if you get out of New York City, you'll realize you're biased. They don't understand it. Jake Tapper and Dana Bash do. They know how much they hate Trump. They know how much they love Joe. But they're aware enough that they are going to want to seem neutral. They're not, but they're going to want to seem that. Here's my prediction. That's going to fall flat after about 10 minutes. They're going to come out of the gate. They're going to ask a question or two of Biden just to say that they did. Just watch this happen, okay? I've been around the block a time or two. They'll ask a question about Hunter Biden and the gun trial. They will not ask a question about the laptop. They'll ask a question about the gun trial. Trump will bring up the laptop, and they'll cut him off. These are some very specific predictions by me that you can write down, put them in an envelope, seal them up, and then open them up and go, oh, Murphy was right. They will ask a few, right, Murphy was right. We predict that Murphy was right. I always like the quick kill on the Murphy was right. You know what I'm saying? They'll try their best to seem like they're asking tough questions. Well, they'll ask him about the inflationary rate. They'll ask him about immigration. It's a big deal in this campaign, Mr. President. And he'll be well prepared because he probably has some of these questions fed to him by some operative with CNN. But there will come a time when Joe Biden is floundering that they will be watch for this. They will be unable to not help him. And Donald Trump will comment during his time about Joe Biden floundering or Joe Biden lying or the Hunter Biden laptop, and they will begin interrupting him, demanding that he answer the question in the way that they want him to answer the question. They will begin interrupting Trump during Trump's time. Just watch for it. And that's when you know we've got him. And that's when you know that Trump is winning the debate. When they begin interrupting Donald Trump, demanding that he answer the question differently than he's answering it. At that point, we're cutting through and we're getting to Meemaw, who doesn't normally watch the debates. We're getting to the meat of the matter.